You can feel it, can't you? Feel what, Mr. White? That's not my name, Jeffrey. You know it's not. It's Van Helsing. Jeffrey sighed as he pushed Mr. White along in his wheelchair. Mr. White, he tried to change the subject. There's somebody here to visit you. Somebody who really wants to see you. Why should I take that risk? Mr. White questioned. It's All Hallows Eve, Jeffrey. The veil between our world and theirs, it is at its finest. And as long as I am locked up here, the creatures of the night are out there running amok. Perhaps this visitor can enjoy envoy of hell. They're here to make sure that I don't fall for their evil plans in the night of terror. I'm not so sure about that, Mr. White. Jeffrey did his best to reassure Mr. White as he wheeled him into the visiting center. A young woman was sitting on one of the several couches scattered throughout the spacious room. As the other patients met with their loved ones, she stood there to meet Jeffrey. Is he? She asked nervously as Jeffrey wheeled Mr. White closer. He's a bit rattled, Jeffrey answered, but the medication seemed to have calmed him down for the great deal. He still admitted to his delusions, but then again it is Halloween after all. The woman knelt before Mr. White, taking his hands in hers. Stephen, she whispered, how do you feel? Samantha, have you come to take me home? Samantha fought back tears as she stared into Stephen's eyes. I came to see you, she whispered. The doctors say, well, they get worried about you, Stephen, especially this time of... It's because they know, Stephen exclaimed, standing up from his wheelchair. They know that I've got a duty to be out there protecting the innocent, and yet they refuse to let me leave. Samantha, you have to believe me. You saw firsthand of what the spirits have done, what they have taken from us. Samantha couldn't contain herself and began to weep softly as Jeffrey calmly guided Stephen back to his seat. Stephen, said Samantha quietly, I came to tell you that they found him. They found that bastard that killed Mom and Dad, okay? I came to tell you that it wasn't some ghost or vampire or whatever you're obsessed with. It was a man, Stephen. A sick, sick man who's going to rot in prison for what he did. Do you understand? After all these years, we could finally get the closure we deserve. Stephen shook his head. You're wrong, he mumbled. It wasn't a man that did it. You weren't there when it happened, Samantha. You didn't see what I saw. You're right, I didn't. But I saw the man who did it. And I just want to tell you that it was all our pain is over. Think about what I've told you. And internalize it. Stop with this Van Helsing revenge fantasy, because we don't have to be vengeful anymore. We can be a family again, if you would just make peace with it all. When you do, I'll come take you home. Samantha stood and slowly backed away from Stephen, eventually turning her back and leaving the visitor center. Jeffrey sighed, wheeling Stephen back to his cell for the night. Ready for your medicine? Jeffrey asked as Stephen began to settle into his bed. It's not right, Jeffrey, he muttered. I should be out there protecting people, making sure what happened to my parents never happens again. Jeffrey nodded, slowly approaching Stephen with a syringe full of sleep medication. It won't, Mr. White, I promise. Now please try and get some rest. In an instant, Stephen sprang to his feet, taking Jeffrey by surprise. He wrestled the syringe from his hands, injecting its contents into Jeffrey's arm. It was only a sedative, so Jeffrey knew he would be fine. Jeffrey was a human, and humans weren't his enemies. As Jeffrey slumped onto the floor, Stephen emerged from his cell, slowly shutting it behind him. He shambled backwards towards the visitor center, retracing his sister's steps as he approached the exit. He walked straight past the sleeping security guard, paying no mind to the camera that tracked his every move. He didn't care if they came looking for him, as long as he had this one night to do what he needed to be done. He pushed the door to the outside world open, the cool October air hitting him like a firefight train. He stumbled down the steps and out towards the hospital's parking lot. No sign of Samantha's car, which meant he would have to walk. It was about a mile to Maple Shade at his hometown. It was deterrent, but he knew he could not allow himself to be distracted from his task. Not tonight. The streets of Maple Shade were nearly empty when Stephen arrived. It was close to 11:30, and all the younger children had been pulled back home by their cautious parents. Halloween was a touchy subject after what happened to Stephen's family all those years ago, but soon it would all be okay. Soon he would make sure that his fellow townsfolk had nothing to fear when that veil was at its finest. He stalked towards the streets, searching for trash cans of any kind of makeshift weapon to defend himself with. This was the day when evil spirits were at their most powerful, and even the most simplistic of worldly weapons could never mean the difference between life and death. At last he found a shard of broken glass when patrolling the house at the end of the 4th and Garden Street. Not much, but it would do. Just as soon as his luck perked up, it began to drop once more. Stephen's attention was diverted to a sudden rustling in a set of nearby bushes. Something was stalking him in the night, watching his progress as he combed through the maple shade, no doubt reporting back to its wicked master that Stephen Van Helsing was finally free. Stephen approached the bushes slowly, keeping his newfound weapon at his side. When he got within earshot of the bush, it erupted a rustle of leaves as something darted out onto the street. Whatever it was a monster. It was a tail, spindly creature shrouded in the darkness. It skittered onto the streets of Maple Shade, tearing away as Stephen began to give chase. For far too long, the creatures of the other side had been given free rein to terrorize the living. Tonight, Stephen was going to do his part to stop it, even if it meant killing only a single monster. He was proud to end his message to the creatures of the night. When he caught up close enough to the monster, he lunged forward, diving his shard of glass into its back. It howled in pain, dropping to the ground with Stephen on top of it. He broke the glass off of its back, digging into the creature's exposed neck with the tiny fragment that remained. Black blood spurted all over his hands as he screamed in victory. He was so caught up in the celebration that the red and blue flashing lights in the distance didn't register his brain. The lights turned off and 2 officers emerged from the squad car. "Oh, Jesus," one of them muttered. "Freeze, asshole," the other shouted, drawing his guns. "Hands where I can see them." Stephen stood, dropping the shard of glass, and he raised his hands over his head. "You could take me back now, officers," he said proudly. "I did what I had to keep us all safe. I slaved a monster. I drove him back for 1 more year." The officers grabbed hold of Stephen, quickly restraining him with a pair of cuffs. They shoved him into the back of the squad car, quickly taking off for the Maple Shade police station. Shortly thereafter, an ambulance arrived to carry away the bloody corpse of a teenage trick-or-treater, his hands still firmly clenched onto a pillowcase full of spoils from the night full of innocent fun.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.